In the dead of night, Alexander Stone sits in his cramped apartment, surrounded by scattered notes and clippings. The relentless rain outside mirrors the turbulent quest for truth stirring within his heart. Alexander pores over his aging laptop, carefully reading through documents and personal notes. His determined eyes reflect years of dedication to exposing the hidden machinations of power. Suddenly, his phone rings unexpectedly, a shrill, almost desperate sound that breaks the silence. The unknown caller's number glows on the screen, heralding a moment of destiny. A distorted, hushed voice on the other end instructs, "If you want to see the truth, meet me at Blackwater Pier tonight at midnight. Come alone." The warning carries both urgency and peril. Alexander hesitates only for a moment before deciding to answer the call. His inner resolve flares as he contemplates the possibility of uncovering a story that could shake the city. With steady hands, he gathers his essential tools, a battered leather notebook, a digital recorder, and a concealed camera, each item a trusted companion in his pursuit of justice. Stepping out into the rain-soaked night, Alexander leaves the safety of his apartment. The cold, relentless drizzle and glistening wet streets fuel his determination. The city's neon reflections shimmer in puddles as he makes his way through darkened alleys, every step carrying him closer to a fateful encounter at Blackwater Pier. Approaching Blackwater Pier, a decaying structure jutting into restless waters, Alexander feels the weight of destiny pressing down amid the eerie, isolated ambiance. At the pier, beneath a flickering street lamp and swirling mist, a solitary figure emerges. The stage is set with creaking wooden planks and the sound of distant waves. The hooded stranger greets Alexander with a trembling voice, introducing himself with an urgency that hints at secrets too dangerous to remain hidden. The mysterious figure extends a small envelope containing a battered USB drive and faded photographs, evidence of clandestine meetings and corrupt exchanges. Without warning, a sharp gunshot pierces the silence. The sound is jarring, and in a heartbeat, the stranger collapses onto the worn planks, leaving the evidence behind. Overcome with shock and sorrow, Alexander kneels beside the fallen informant. In that moment, he feels both the cost of truth and the gravity of the mission ahead. Determined to honor the stranger's sacrifice, Alexander clutches the envelope tightly. The USB drive and photographs now carry the burden of a truth that must be revealed. With the rain still pouring down, he leaves the pier, every step echoing his commitment to exposing the web of corruption that has claimed so many lives. The night gives way to an uneasy dawn. The city awakens under a heavy cloak of uncertainty as Alexander prepares to confront the damning evidence he now possesses. In a quiet, modest cafe, Alexander sets up his laptop. The soft murmur of conversations contrasts with the turbulent revelations stored on his USB drive. He carefully inserts the USB drive into his laptop. A cascade of encrypted files begins to load. Emails, confidential memos, and video footage that promise explosive revelations. The screen fills with data that unravels a vast network of corruption. Each file is a piece of the puzzle linking powerful figures to secret deals and hidden bribes. As Alexander scrolls through the digital evidence, his eyes widen with shock. The damning details point to a systemic rot that has long festered in the corridors of power. Every document reveals layers of deceit and manipulation, secret transactions, covert meetings, and whispered agreements that betray a legacy of corruption. Overwhelmed yet resolute, Alexander realizes that the evidence is not merely a story. It is a call to arms against those who would silence the truth. With every keystroke and careful examination of each file, he understands that the fight for transparency and justice now rests squarely on his shoulders. The weight of responsibility settles in as Alexander contemplates the dangerous road ahead. The truth he has uncovered could topple empires if only it sees the light. In the hushed atmosphere of the cafe, his pulse quickens with both fear and fierce determination to share this explosive story with the world. Suddenly, distant footsteps and raised voices disrupt the quiet. Alexander glances outside and sees a dark sedan idling, an ominous sign that he is being watched. Anxiety prickles his skin as he senses unseen eyes following his every move. The atmosphere shifts. Danger is no longer an abstract threat, but a present reality. With urgency in his heart, he packs up his laptop and the precious evidence, every second now counting as the threat of pursuit grows more real. He dashes into the rain-soaked night, slipping into dark alleys and narrow passages, each step a desperate bid to evade the mysterious pursuers closing in. The city transforms into a labyrinth of shadows and uncertainty. Every corner hides potential danger as Alexander navigates the treacherous urban maze. In a narrow, dimly lit passage, his heart races with fear and resolve. The echoes of his hurried footsteps mix with the constant patter of rain. Finally, he reaches a safe house, a modest refuge on the outskirts of the city, where whispers of past journalistic battles still linger in faded clippings on the walls. Inside the safe house, the atmosphere is somber yet resolute. Old newspaper clippings and memories of previous fights against corruption adorn the walls. Alexander lays out the evidence on a worn wooden table, meticulously cross-referencing digital files with physical photographs, a mosaic of dark secrets. The room fills with the weight of the revelations. Each document and image is a testament to the monstrous network of deceit that has plagued the city. Alone in this quiet sanctuary, he recalls his mentor's timeless words. Truth is the light that pierces even the deepest shadow. Inspired by that wisdom, Alexander's resolve solidifies. He vows to honor the sacrifice of the fallen and to expose the corruption at all costs. With renewed determination, he begins to document every detail, every connection, every hidden transaction, preparing to reveal the truth to the world. The next morning, Alexander awakens with a heavy yet determined heart. The evidence and its implications swirl in his mind as he readies himself for what comes next. Over a quiet breakfast, he reflects on the events of the previous night, a collision of tragedy and the promise of a groundbreaking story. His laptop screen casts a revealing glow as he reopens the damning files. The digital evidence illuminates the dark corners of a vast conspiracy. A montage of secret transactions, covert meetings, and forbidden exchanges unfolds before him, each file deepening the mystery and the stakes. The scale of the corruption becomes undeniable, a network that spans powerful elites, manipulated institutions, and hidden agendas. Shock mingles with determination as Alexander realizes the enormity of the betrayal. The once hidden machinations of power are now laid bare. Every document confirms the complicity of influential figures who have long enjoyed impunity. The corruption is systemic and monstrous in scale. The resolve within him hardens. Alexander understands that to remain silent is to betray the many who have suffered in the shadows. He embarks on a painstaking process of verification, ensuring every piece of evidence is irrefutable before he dares to expose it publicly. With methodical precision, he maps out the intricate connections between the corrupted institutions, forming a damning narrative of deceit. As he documents each detail, Alexander prepares for the inevitable confrontation, a battle to reclaim truth and restore justice. Realizing the monumental task ahead, Alexander knows he cannot do this alone. The fight for truth demands allies who share his unwavering commitment. His thoughts turn to Marisol Vega, a renowned investigative reporter whose fearless pursuits and relentless integrity have inspired many. Determined to form an alliance, he arranges a discreet meeting in an abandoned warehouse, a neutral ground where secrets and strategy converge. In the dim, echoing interior of the warehouse, Alexander meets Marisol. Their eyes meet with an unspoken understanding of the risks involved. The sparse light from a single hanging bulb casts dramatic shadows over their determined faces. Every word spoken carries the weight of their shared mission. Alexander recounts the harrowing events at Blackwater Pier, the mysterious call, the sacrifice of a stranger, and the damning evidence now in his hands. Marisol listens intently, her gaze unwavering as she absorbs each detail, her own resolve growing with every revelation of corruption. Their conversation is a quiet storm of urgency and shared purpose, a pledge to expose the rot that has long festered within the corridors of power. In that moment, they forge an alliance of minds and hearts, united by the belief that truth must triumph over deceit at any cost. Together, they spread out the files and photographs on a battered table, piecing together the intricate puzzle of betrayal and greed. With careful deliberation, they map out connections between corrupt officials, influential executives, and secret transactions that defy morality. A bond of trust forms as they realize that only by combining their expertise can they dismantle the pervasive network of corruption. Soon after, a cryptic tip arrives in the form of an anonymous email. Its brief message hints at deeper layers of deception yet to be uncovered. The email instructs them to meet at Hargrave Mansion, a name that evokes mystery and the remnants of a forgotten aristocratic legacy. Hargrave Mansion looms in the distance, a decaying relic with ivy-covered walls and broken windows, exuding an aura of long-buried secrets. Despite the mounting risks, Alexander and Marisol agree that this tip is too crucial to ignore. The truth must be chased wherever it leads. Under a cold, moonlit sky, they approach the imposing mansion. Each step toward its grand, crumbling facade is fraught with anticipation. The mansion's haunting exterior, its weathered stone, overgrown ivy, and shattered windows, sets the stage for the revelations to come. Inside, the corridors are labyrinthine and filled with echoes of the past. Every creak and whisper of the wind amplifies the sense of impending discovery. In a dusty, dimly lit parlor lined with old portraits and tattered drapes, they encounter a nervous man known only as Silas. Silas, his eyes darting with anxiety, introduces himself and begins to reveal the extent of the conspiracy that has ensnared the city. His trembling voice details how whistleblowers have been silenced and secrets buried, painting a chilling picture of systemic betrayal. Every word from Silas confirms that the network of corruption extends far beyond what they had imagined, touching every stratum of power. The intensity in his voice grows as he describes covert deals, secret meetings, and the ruthless measures taken to keep the truth hidden. With shaking hands, Silas presses a folded piece of paper into Alexander's grasp, a document containing names, dates, and critical evidence. Just as the gravity of his revelations deepens, The sound of approaching footsteps forces Silas to issue a final, urgent warning. In a frantic moment, Silas urges them to leave immediately, his eyes filled with terror as he slips away into the mansion's dark corridors. Left alone with the evidence, Alexander and Marisol stand in stunned silence. The paper is both a vital key and a dangerous burden. They quickly review the document, realizing that it deepens the web of deceit and confirms the monstrous scale of the corruption. The new revelations strengthen their resolve, igniting a fierce determination to expose every hidden truth, no matter the cost. As days pass, the pressure mounts relentlessly. Anonymous threats and subtle warnings become a constant presence in their lives. Sleepless nights and a persistent sense of being pursued begin to erode their sense of security, but also fuel their determination. In the solitude of his safe house, Alexander confronts the crushing burden of the mission. The evidence sprawled before him is a silent, potent challenge. Surrounded by scattered documents and haunted by memories of sacrifice, he feels the weight of responsibility like never before. Amid his inner turmoil, he finds solace in a letter from his late mentor, a reminder that even the smallest light can shatter the deepest shadows. The mentor's timeless words rekindle a fire within him, transforming despair into renewed courage and purpose. Marisol, too, grapples with internal doubts, but her fierce determination to seek justice prevails over the fear of betrayal. In a quiet moment of vulnerability, the two share their deepest fears and hopes, forging a bond that fortifies their resolve. United by their shared vision, they decide on a bold plan: to hold a live broadcast press conference that will force the conspirators into the light. Every detail of the plan is scrutinized: timing, technical setups, and the order in which the damning evidence will be unveiled. They rehearse the sequence with precision, knowing that a single misstep could jeopardize not only their lives but the future of justice. The tension is palpable as they prepare for the broadcast, a moment that could ignite a revolution of accountability across the nation. Their shared determination transforms fear into a weapon. Every detail, every safeguard is meticulously planned for the ultimate showdown. On the day of reckoning, a crisp autumn morning sets the stage, the air heavy with anticipation and the promise of change. Alexander, Marisol, and a small cadre of trusted allies gather early for the historic press conference, each aware that the moment is monumental. They arrive at the grand atrium of the city's largest convention center, where modern glass and steel serve as a stark contrast to the corruption they intend to expose. The atrium buzzes with nervous energy. Every detail, from the reflective surfaces to the soft hum of equipment, signals that history is about to be made. Rows of state-of-the-art audiovisual gear are set up, ready to capture every moment of the live broadcast that will change everything. Unbeknownst to the conspirators, a high-level meeting is scheduled simultaneously, an ironic backdrop to the revelation of their darkest secrets. The stage is meticulously arranged with cameras, microphones, and monitors, all poised to document the explosive unveiling of truth. With unwavering resolve, Alexander steps up to the podium. His confident gaze masks the danger that lurks in every corner of this high-stakes moment. Standing firmly beside him, Marisol embodies the spirit of fearless inquiry. Together, they form a formidable front against the forces of corruption. Alexander begins to narrate the story, a tale of betrayal, greed, and the relentless pursuit of truth that has led him to this defining moment. One by one, he unveils secret emails, hidden bank transactions, and incriminating photographs, each piece a brick in the wall of deceit. The audience is struck silent, their shock palpable as the full magnitude of the corruption unfolds before their eyes. The live broadcast ripples across social media, igniting a firestorm of public outrage and sparking a demand for justice across the nation. Millions of viewers around the world are drawn into the unfolding drama, a bold exposure of secrets that were meant to remain hidden. In the grand atrium, the room falls into a stunned hush as the damning evidence forces everyone to confront the reality of systemic corruption. A ripple of unity sweeps through the audience, journalists, citizens, and activists alike, all united in a call for accountability. With unwavering passion, Alexander proclaims, "The truth belongs to us." His words resonate deeply, igniting hope among those who have long been silenced. In that electrifying moment, the carefully constructed facade of the conspirators begins to crumble, revealing their true, vulnerable nature. News outlets across the globe break the scandal, amplifying the broadcast's impact and ensuring that the truth reaches every corner of society. Protests erupt in city centers as citizens take to the streets, demanding justice and an end to the reign of corruption. Prominent public figures call for immediate investigations, while the once untouchable elite scramble to contain the unfolding disaster. Amid the chaos, intelligence arrives about a final secret meeting, a clandestine gathering of the top conspirators in a secluded mansion. Determined to secure the last vestiges of evidence, Alexander and Marisol prepare for a daring covert operation to intercept this final meeting. With a trusted task force by their side, they meticulously plan their infiltration, knowing that every moment is a battle against time. Under the cloak of darkness, the team moves silently, navigating the mansion's sprawling grounds in high security with precision. The mansion itself looms large, a sprawling estate guarded by formidable measures, its opulent facade belying the treachery within. Hidden cameras and covert microphones are strategically positioned, ensuring that every incriminating conversation is recorded. Inside, the lavish hall becomes the stage for the final gathering of conspirators, a stark juxtaposition of opulence and moral decay. Unaware of the hidden eyes and ears, the conspirators engage in hushed, desperate conversations, their voices tinged with fear. Their dialogue, laden with desperation and deceit, reveals the lengths they will go to preserve their crumbling empire of lies. Suddenly, chaos erupts as security forces clash with the conspirators. The once silent hall is filled with shouts, flashing lights, and confusion. Amid the tumult, Alexander's voice rings out over the live feed. "This is the end of your reign of terror," a bold declaration that reverberates with authority. The conspirators' defiant expressions quickly give way to terror and panic, their carefully maintained power structure crumbling before the world's eyes. In the explosive aftermath, the city awakens to a new era. Investigations are launched, and the corrupt are finally held accountable. High-ranking officials face scrutiny and legal consequences as the once-hidden corridors of power are bathed in the light of public accountability. The revelations spark a nationwide movement. The truth, once suppressed, now fuels a surge of demand for transparency and reform. Alexander and Marisol become enduring symbols of courage. Their fearless stand against corruption inspires millions across the country. Their story spreads like wildfire, shared on every platform, igniting hope and empowering citizens to stand up for justice. community leaders and grassroots organizations rally together, united by a common vision of rebuilding society on a foundation of integrity. Protests and public demonstrations swell in the streets, each chant and banner a defiant repudiation of past injustices. The live broadcast's impact reverberates across every medium, transforming a single act of bravery into a national call for change. From a quiet rooftop overlooking the city, Alexander reflects on the monumental impact of their actions, a testament to the power of truth. As he gazes over a city beginning to heal, he sees hope emerging from the ruins of corruption, a promise of a fairer future. Marisol joins him on the rooftop. Together, they share a moment of quiet triumph and a deep, unspoken commitment to continue the fight. They speak softly of the arduous journey and the battles yet to come, aware that the struggle for justice is an unending pursuit. In that shared silence, a promise is made to keep the flame of accountability burning, no matter the obstacles that lie ahead. In the months following the broadcast, the ripples of their exposé spread into schools, communities, and every facet of public life. Educational programs emerge, teaching young minds the importance of civic engagement, integrity, and the relentless quest for truth. Public art and murals spring up across the city, celebrating the heroes who risked everything to bring light to the darkest corners. Stories of everyday whistleblowers and unsung heroes circulate widely, reinforcing the belief that courage can overcome even the deepest corruption. Alexander's reflective writings serve as a lasting reminder of the cost of silence and the enduring value of speaking out against injustice. His words echo through time, a call to future generations to never accept tyranny and to always fight for the truth. Inspired by his legacy, new generations of journalists and activists emerge, each determined to keep the light of transparency burning bright. The narrative of struggle and eventual triumph becomes a timeless testament to human resilience and the power of unity in the face of oppression. Communities come together in ongoing dialogue and collective action, rebuilding trust and forging a path toward a more just society. The enduring light of truth continues to shine, a beacon guiding society towards a future where justice and accountability prevail. In a final, heartfelt message, Alexander and Marisol urge every individual to stand up for justice, to champion truth, and to never lose hope, even when surrounded by darkness.
Subscribe for more content.